Discover how to enhance the impact of your ADHD medication by paying attention to daily details. Small adjustments can make a big difference in any treatment. Find out how now. The doctor is in. Let's begin. Okay, let's look at what we have for today's article. How to get the most from your ADHD meds. Okay. Well, to start off, I do want to explain that ADHD medication is used to help manage the symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, otherwise known as ADHD. These symptoms include inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. These meds fall into two categories, stimulants and non-stimulants. Stimulants are the most commonly prescribed type, and they work by increasing levels of certain neurotransmitters in the brain to enhance focus and self-control. Some examples include methylphenidate, which is found in Ritalin, and amphetamine salts, which is found in Adderall. Non-stimulant medications are typically used when stimulants are ineffective or because of undesirable side effects. And these medications work differently by targeting other neurotransmitters or pathways in the brain to help improve attention and behavior. Some examples of non-stimulants include atomoxetine and guanfacine. Both stimulants and non-stimulants can be highly effective when used correctly, but they often require careful monitoring and adjustments to find the optimal dose and timing for each individual. Managing ADHD effectively often does require more than just taking medication as prescribed. And during this session, we'll discuss various tips and tricks to enhance the effectiveness of ADHD medication. We'll also cover the importance of consulting with healthcare providers and tracking your progress to find the best approach for you. These tips will help you achieve better focus, productivity, and overall well-being. Okay, but let's get into it. To eat or not to eat? That's a good question. Well, it sort of makes me think of Shakespeare right there. ADHD medication may or may not be as effective when taken with a meal. For example, it's not uncommon to get better results taking instant release medicines on more of an empty stomach, about an hour before or 2 hours after eating. Likewise, some find it best to eat a couple of hours before taking extended release ones. It's different for everyone. Okay, so the general gist here, perfecting the meal and medication timing might just be the secret to effectiveness in taking your ADHD medication. Sometimes it's just the little things that can make a big impact on life. Moving on, hold the juice. Okay, on a similar note, ADHD medications don't always play nice with other stuff that we put in our bodies. For example, caffeine adds extra stimulants to the situation, so enjoying that coffee or soda give you an anxious, jittery, or all-around unpleasant feeling. Ugh. Best to limit the amount of coffee you have in the morning if you're on this kind of medication, or medication in general. And if you take your medicine with a glass of OJ, think again. Because believe it or not, citric and ascorbic acid can affect how your body absorbs and gets rid of ADHD medication. That doesn't mean fruit juice is off the tables for good. You just might want to avoid citrus, carbonated drinks, and high vitamin C items, like tomatoes and berries, for an hour before and after taking your ADHD medicine. I mean, that's a good little tidbit right there. And not to be a buzzkill, but alcohol can make it seem like stimulants aren't working, and vice versa, raising the chances of having too much of either. At best, you can end up feeling intensely amped, like a nightclub is thumping inside of you, or having trouble sleeping. At worst, the combo of ADHD meds and alcohol can be dangerous. Okay, so the takeaway, as we probably already know, is do not take ADHD medication with alcohol. So just be aware of what you consume. Another good way to boost the effectiveness of your ADHD medication is get good sleep, which apparently is easier said than done, especially if you have ADHD. But doing your best to sleep well is essential for a good ADHD life. It's also good for life in general. Being sleep deprived can exacerbate the ADHD symptoms, and make it that much harder to get the most from your medication, or to accurately assess if it's helping you or not. Do what you can to get a sufficient amount of sleep, and because it differs for everyone, but most adults need about 7 to 9 hours per night. And you want to focus on the quality of sleep as well, as there are loads of sleep hygiene strategies and healthy habits that vary from person to person. But you want to aim to go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, keep a consistent wind-down routine, and try to make a comfy and non-distracting sleep space. The ADHD meds can get in the way of good sleep, so consider cutting your evening dose. That won't always be, of course, all this, it's not going to be realistic, especially if you work or study at night. But take your last dose as early as possible before bed. Timing is everything. Well, based on the previous sections, like eat or not to eat, it kind of makes sense that timing is very important when taking your ADHD medication. ADHD medication vary in terms of how fast they kick in and how long they last. So pay attention to how your mind and body feel in the hours after you take it. If you notice peak effects after 1 hour and you need to be at optimum functioning at 9 a.m., be sure to take your medicine around 8 a.m. Track the number of hours it takes for it to wear off, and talk with your doctor about when to take any additional doses. The ideal timing might be inconvenient, so a little bit planning can actually help. Pro tips: set daily alarms for each dose, schedule your meals, and have your medication on you when you need it. If you're sluggish in the morning, keep the medicine next to your bed so you can roll over and take it right away when you get up. So best to have also a glass of water with you too. And as a side note, for anyone taking medications in general, it also helps to just flip the med bottle upside down after you've taken medication. It's a nice little reminder that it has already been taken. There were many a times I didn't know if I had already taken a pill, and I may have ended up double dosing. Honestly, timing is something you will personally need to play around with to make the most of your medication. Sometimes, less is more. I really like the way that sounds. Less is more. Pretty straightforward. Remember, more milligrams don't necessarily mean more benefits. Taking more medication than your brain needs can even make ADHD symptoms worse. So, as you work with your doctor to find the right dose, test different options, go up as needed, but also back down as, again, more could actually make the symptoms worse. You might be surprised that a lower dose feels good and works too. Well, it was said before, and I will say it again. Less is more. Alright, let's finish up. Okay, well, to summarize today's session, getting the most out of your ADHD medication will involve paying attention to several parts of your daily life. Taking your meds at the right time, preferably on an empty stomach, can make them work better. And what you eat and drink matters too, like avoiding citric juices and caffeinated beverages, as those will reduce the absorption of the medication itself. And as a bonus tip, if you want to actually increase ADHD medication absorption, eating high-fat foods like avocado, dark chocolate, and or beef can be of some assistance. Also, in general, these are foods that I recommend consumption as well. There's also good sleep habits, which are very important since poor sleep can worsen ADHD symptoms and make the medication themselves less effective. Some good sleep habits include being on a consistent sleep schedule of 7 to 9 hours a night, going to bed and getting up at the same time every day, even on the weekends, as this will help keep your body's internal clock stable. Another helpful tip is to keep the bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Also, I recommend avoiding any phones or laptops or TV for at least an hour before bed, because the blue light that they emit can interfere with the melatonin production, making it harder for you to fall asleep. So maybe take that time to read a good book, take a nice bubble bath, whatever helps you relax before going to sleep. Anyway, getting back on track. Being aware of of these concepts that affect the effectiveness, ADHD medication will help improve how well the treatment works. Though, as good as those tips are, I would suggest talking with your doctor. Sharing any side effects or symptoms with them about the medication can help them understand in adjusting the dosage or help you with the timing of the medication to better suit your needs. After all, humans are all unique and beautiful creatures, similar yet different. Therefore, treatment plans may vary amongst them. The key is to find a good balance that'll alleviate the ADHD symptoms without causing any unwanted side effects. And with that said, tell me what you think. If you enjoyed listening and want to hear or see more content like this, like and subscribe, or follow me on X. Alright, the doctor is out.